Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this third edition of our Financial Literacy Month webinar series. I'm here today with Ryan Baker. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing very well, Jennifer. How are you doing today?
Very, very well myself. Thank you very much. My name is Jennifer Boudreau. I am an education strategist with Financial Group. And today what we're going to be talking to you about is some of our government pension plans, what we can expect, what we need to know from them. If you haven't already joined us for our previous webinar series events, we did something on November 6th regarding retirement and savings products, getting to know what all those acronym means. We also did something on November 13th about budgeting. So if you haven't already had the chance to view those webinars, feel free to log in at our education website at ia.ca/group-education/webinars to go ahead and view those past webinars. Now, Ryan, we're going to be talking about public plans today. What do we need to know?
Absolutely. So you heard Jennifer say that, again, the previous sessions were really kind of focused on, again, those acronyms, right? And again, budgeting. And I want to continue on with that conversation and look at the basics of some important programs. You see some acronyms on the screen. So let's talk a little bit about these government programs. And when we look at our retirement savings, it's really important to practice or look towards, again, well, where are we going to be generating our income, right? When we're no longer earning an employment income, where does that money come from? So today's presentation, again, we're going to be looking at those public programs, but I also want to start off by talking about how important it is to factor in the other sources of income. The first of these, again, you saw in that first webinar earlier here in the Financial Literacy Month, the acronyms towards our retirement savings. So again, when we talk about, again, contributing towards our financial future, specifically towards that retirement savings, there's a lot of different types of products, those acronyms, right? Those RRSPs. You might be maybe contributing into a group program that's putting money into a defined profit sharing program or a registered retirement pension program. So when we look at those, again, kind of great opportunities to save towards that critical part of our savings. But one of the things we do face is that when we are, again, needing to, again, replace our employment income, we might be a little bit short as well. So when we look at the overall, again, the pillars that we are, again, generating our retirement income, the third one is, again, maybe making up any shortfalls with our personal means, maybe our own additional savings in a tax-free savings account or a non-registered. Many people maybe rely on the sale of some real estate or rental income, or one of the things that is a lot more common now is contributing towards your income through maybe a part-time income as well. So maybe when we reach that, there's a bit of that transition. But again, today what we're going to talk about is, again, factoring in the public pension programs there. So what are they? How do they work, right? How much and when can we expect to receive these? And also, we're going to direct you towards some really critical information that you can to maybe dig a little bit deeper into your own individual situation. But when we look at the complement of these products together, it's important to see maybe how these public plans work and how it relates to our other savings products.
You know, Ryan, I think you're absolutely right. I think another way of looking at it as well is our public pension plans are really there as the base to our retirement savings objectives. This is going to be a base amount that we can build on top of. And to be able to do that, you do need to have an idea of where you're going, what your plans are for retirement. But it's a good net to know that we do have something that we will be able to rely on. So talk to us a little bit more about what we're going to be looking at today. What plans specifically are we going to be reviewing?
All right. Well, what are they? So today, what we're going to be focusing on is two different buckets of programs. The first bucket you see here, it has, again, two different programs. The first is a Canadian pension plan. You might hear it as a CPP. There is also what's called a Quebec pension program. Now, both of these are, again, is a monthly taxable income program that is meant to be kind of a part of that replacement income. And again, depending on where you are, again, employed is depending on which of these two programs you'll be contributing into. Now, the other program is going to be old age security, and this is a benefit you receive once you reach that age of 65, and they a little bit different. So let's talk a little bit more about, so here's what they are. Well, maybe how much can we maybe expect from these programs, and then from there we'll build on that conversation. So let's look at that first category. So through the Canadian pension plan, or again quite identical in that Quebec pension program, you can expect on average about $815 per month. Now the maximum that you can receive in total is just above $1,300. Okay. The old age security program, that one on average, Canadians are receiving about 707. You see, the maximum is just a little bit higher than that. So most Canadians are receiving the maximum. Now, these two programs together, on average, Canadians are getting just shy or just over about $18,000. Now, Jennifer, I don't know where you live, but I know where I live. There's no way that this would be sufficient in order to meet our needs, to maintain our status of living in retirement.
I think that you're absolutely right. This is certainly something that we've seen many times over in our education sessions. Ryan, what amount do we need to aim for? What is there a magic number for us to sort of keep in mind when we're planning for retirement?
Absolutely. So when we're looking at these figures, and again, you heard Jennifer mention earlier, it kind of provides that foundation for our retirement income. Very important for us to, as you saw in those other two columns, to supplement that income. So when we're planning for our retirement and we're again kind of estimating how much we might need, the industry will tell you you typically need about 70% of your pre-retirement income in order to maintain your status of living. Keyword there being maintain your status of living, right? If you maybe, I happen to be a golfer and a skier, the things that retirement certainly provides is that flexibility. So to have more free time. So I hope to golf and ski a lot more. Well, 70% might not be sufficient. But again, when we look at it for, again, kind of planning purposes or estimating how much, again, when we're planning this, factoring in these public plans, we can understand we need about 70% of our pre-retirement income there.
Yeah, I think as well from these figures that we have here, I think it's quite clear to see that 70% of our pre-retirement income for most Canadians, the numbers on the screen here do not represent that amount. So what we really want to underline here is the importance of supplementing the gap between what your public plans will offer you and what you need to achieve that retirement objective, be it through either collective plans that you have through work, be it private savings, be it working into retirement. There's a lot of flexibility. It's really a question of finding what is the right mix for you, but once again, going back to our public plans, there is an amount that we can rely on. We actually have a chat just coming into, not a chat, we have a question in the chat right here. Are these benefits taxable? And then there's a bit of an exclamation, oh my God. But I think the answer is yes.
Yes, you do see that they are taxable. So these figures are pre-tax. So again, these would be added and again added to in terms of the income that would be taxable for you. Yes.
Yes.
Right. So let's maybe dig a little deeper into some of these numbers. And you may be asking, well, how much or how does those figures, how are they calculated? Let's start with the old age security. So when we look at the amount that you are eligible to receive, it's going to depend on a couple of things. First one is, well, what is your income? And you'll see why here in a moment. It is based on a residency requirement. So how long have you been a Canadian resident? We'll factor in as well. And also, when are you taking this? So if you are taking it at the age of 65 or later, it will also factor in the number. Now, for that amount as well, it is adjusted quarterly. So it is based on the consumer price index. So again, when we hear a lot of the words like inflation, this is adjusted to ensure that it is maintaining, again, kind of that cost of living balance there. So digging a little deeper into that, again, you heard me say, okay, well, what is the amount that you're entitled to? So to be eligible for the program, you have to be a Canadian resident for a minimum of 10 years. If you've been a Canadian resident for 40 years, you are then entitled to the full amount of that. Okay. You heard again, just a reminder, this is a taxable amount as well. So when you turn 65, you're going to be automatically enrolled in this program, but you do have the option of actually delaying it by 5 years, up to 5 years. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to adjust your payment for every month beyond your 65th birthday. You'll see on the screen there, again, for each month you delay it, it will go up by 0.6%. If you happen to, again, delay it for the full 60 months, which is 5 years, you will see it will increase the amount by 36% for that full 5-year period. Okay. Now, there is a component of the old age security that has what's known as a clawback. So if your net income does exceed a certain amount, it begins to claw back the amount that you're eligible for. Okay, let's look at, so when we look at the numbers for this, if you, and again, just looking at the current year numbers, so in 2024, if your income exceeds $90,997, it begins to get clawed back. So you'll see on the screen, for every dollar, it gets clawed back by 15 cents. Again, that is retirement income. Okay. When your retirement income does exceed $148,451, if your income is above that, you no longer receive an OAS. So very critical to understand that there is that clawback component. Now, the maximum amount, if we are looking at, again, the figures as of January of 2025, there are 2 different maximums you do see on the screen. So if you are aged 65 and you, again, choose to elect to take your payment at age 65, again, up to age 74, you can see the maximum that you are entitled to is $8,560. Now, this figure actually goes up. So once you reach age 75 and older, you're entitled to a higher amount of for the old age security there.
I think that this is a very important element to sort of take into consideration, Ryan. If you are, if you do have that clawback amount, there's an idea to it that maybe you want to have an advance notice as to what may happen if you are earning these more increased salaries. Are there tools in place where members can go online and kind of get an advance notice of what they can expect?
Well, I think this kind of builds maybe off of the webinar from last week, the budgeting, right? When we kind of start wanting to plan ahead, it's really important to maybe understand how much can we expect, and then it helps us to plan. So again, great tools that are available. So through the Service Canada website, there is an opportunity for you to do an estimate based on your unique situation. So if you see on the right-hand side of the screen, you're going to input some of your information in terms of kind of getting a more accurate snapshot of how much you would be entitled to. So again, through this program, what you are then provided is, again, kind of further information to assist you and maybe your family in making those important decisions, right? If you're, again, completing the estimate, you can see not only what you might be entitled to at certain ages. You mentioned earlier if you have the option of delaying the payment to begin as well. So again, that flexibility allows you to kind of maybe customize it to you and your unique situation. So this is really going to provide you a really great information, unique and specific to your information, and then again assist you with maybe that budgeting in retirement as well.
I think those are excellent pieces here, Ryan. We have quite a few questions that are coming in the chat. What happens if you're not earning a very high income into retirement? What will happen in terms of old age security? Is there any additional benefits that our members on the line today can expect?
That's an excellent question. And it's really important to kind of understand that the government does have some provisions in place that if you do find yourself maybe not earning as much income in retirement as maybe you had expected, or again, there was some circumstances that it kind of affected you, very important to know that there's an additional program to be aware of that is connected to the old age security program. So it's called the Guaranteed Income Supplement. Now, if you are receiving the old age security pension and your income does go below a certain threshold, it will kick in eligibility for the Guaranteed Income Supplement. This is really aimed at helping seniors to, again, with that additional financial support, and really it's there to, again, cover those basic living expenses. So if you do find yourself kind of reaching kind of an income level that does dip below that, you will automatically be, again, assessed in terms of kind of your eligibility in the program and the amount that you're eligible to receive. It's going to depend really on a couple of things here. It's going to depend on your marital status and also your income. So again, wanted to again show you that if you are, again, benefiting from the old age security, there's a great opportunity for you to, again, kind of get that additional financial support if you do need it. It doesn't mean that you're going to get this necessarily kind of right right away, but it is there if you need it. As I said, it does get automatically assessed when you are applying.
I think that that's a wonderful support that members know that could be available if they do have, if they do qualify as a low income senior. We have a couple questions in the chat about, what we're going to take into consideration, or what OAS rather will take into consideration. Is it just one person's salary or the family? I think that there's a bit of a distinction here. Old age security is really your salary alone, but this guaranteed income supplement does take into consideration more of a household income salary. And we also have one member here that's saying that they went online and checked, and that even though they've been contributing all of their life while they're working, they're only at a certain dollar amount. So I think that that's actually a good segue into the next portion of our presentation, which is the other, our Quebec pension plan and Canada pension plans.
It is. So when we're looking at, again, maybe this guaranteed income supplement or the old age security program, well, it is really kind of a benefit of being a Canadian resident, right? We don't apply to we don't kind of contribute into that. Quite different than what we have with the Canadian pension program, or you heard me mention earlier, the Quebec pension plan. Now, with each of these, again, it is based on your employment residency. So if you are living and employed in the province of Quebec, you would be contributing directly into the QPP program. Outside of the province of Quebec, you'd be contributing into the CPP program. Now, you'll actually have a close look at your pay stub. You might actually also see this deduction. So as such, how much you are entitled to is really going to depend on a couple of things as well, right? What age you begin, very similar to the old age security program. But here it's really how much have you been contributing? How long have you been contributing? This is really going to factor into how much you would be entitled to for this particular program. Now, one of the things I also wanted to point out is that if you find yourself maybe in a situation where you had periods where you did not work or you did not contribute into the program, again, one of the things I wanted to mention about the CPP and QPP as well is it actually does factor in what are your best earning years. So what it does is it allows you to, again, with the CPP, you can actually drop off. So when you're looking at the average of your income, you can drop off some of those lower years. Also for the QPP and the CPP, if you were raising children or maybe you were receiving disability benefits, for example, it will factor those in as well. So those will not negatively impact you if you, again, had some lower income earning years, or again, if you took some time out to raise family, or again, were receiving any of those benefits, you are taken care of there. Okay. Kind of similar to, again, the OAS program, where is that guaranteed income supplement component to that program. The CPP and QPP, there's also a disability component as well as survivor benefits. So if you do become disabled while either on the program, or you be either previously or while on the program, there is a disability component to that. Also, if you do pass away, there are survivor benefits. So again, depending on some factors based on age and whatnot, your surviving spouse can continue on with the payments for the remainder of their life, and again, be able to replace some of the income that you were providing in the event of your passing there. So great opportunity through those additional disability and survivor benefits there. Let's maybe dig a little bit deeper. So again, you heard me mention earlier, the amount is going to be based on how much and how long you've been contributing. So really, you're going to get out of the program whatever you've put into this. Now, it is going to be indexed annually, unlike quarterly for the OAS. And again, both programs are taxable as income. So OAS, you did have an automatic enrollment into the program at age 65, unless you would, of course, like to delay it. The CPP and QPP is a little different in the sense that you do need to apply this for this. We do recommend you apply for CPP or QPP about 1 to 3 months before you wish to receive your first payment. And here you have the option of not only actually taking it at the age of 65, you can also take it as early as age 60 or delay it up to the age of 70. Now, similar to OAS, what that's going to do is if you delay it past the age of 65, again, increase the payment. You see, again, kind of the impact of that delay on the screen here. Now, opposite to that, if you do take it before the age of 65, 65, it's going to reduce the amount that you are eligible for. That is, again, you are lengthening the time that you are receiving those payments, so there is that adjustment accordingly. So here, very similar to what you saw on the OAS, there's some flexibility to really match it to your unique situation. So if you look, so for example, if you maybe expect to work past the age of 65, you can really ensure that you can continue to, again, kind of contribute into the program and again, enjoy those benefits there. Or if you find yourself maybe with kind of the freedom to retire before 65, that flexibility is there for you and your family.
You know what, Ryan? I think that this is all fantastic information. We actually have a question in the chat here. If you had opted to defer until age 70 for OAS or CPP or QPP, but that after, maybe your life situation has changed a little bit and that you actually do need to start pulling from those public plans, can you revert back? I think absolutely. This is not an irrevocable decision. And there's a reason why there's a per month adjustment, is that you can really adjust this to the per month, whatever your situation is. So if you are, at 65, you're like, no, I don't need it right now. You can delay it forever, however long you need, up until the age 70, and really go from there. So now where does this bring us now to in terms of the enhancements? So there have been enhancements that have been done on the Quebec Canada Pension Plan and Quebec Pension Plan, correct?
I felt it was important to maybe spend a little bit of time. You're going to see some numbers here, but I really kind of wanted to really highlight the fact that, again, there has been some enhancement changes that have been taking place both with the CPP and QPP program. Both of them are really aimed at ensuring that it is increasing the amount that you would be eligible for in retirement and disability, as well as those survivor benefits. So this is really going to be increasing the contributions that you are going to be putting in. Those are the amounts that you do see deducted. But again, those are also being contributed from your employer as well. So if you are contributing more, this is going to entitle you to, again, a kind of an increased amount in there. So I want to kind of highlight that there's been two different enhancements. Now, way back in 2019 was the first enhancement. And from 2019 till 2023, really across the board, everybody kind of started to pay more into the program. Now, what happened at the beginning of this year in 2024 is there was a second part of that enhancement. So first one, everybody increased. The second one, what happened is it increased the amount that of income that is eligible for, again, contribution into this program. So what you will see that effective this year, again, if you are earning more than 68,500 and below 73,200, so that section, you're going to be actually contributing an enhanced amount to that higher amount there. So you'll see, again, some figures there. What this is, again, allowing you to do is that if you do have a higher income, that means that, again, more of your income is eligible for this Canadian Pension Plan and Quebec Pension Plan program, as well as, again, across the board with that first enhancement. Now, I just want to emphasize here, through this second part, again, if your income is less than 68,500, there's no impact in this current year. Once we, again, reach that year 2025, again, this program will continue. Then after that, really, everybody's on the same program. So what this program was really made to do was to transition everybody to really paying more into it, which, again, allows us to have higher benefits in there as well. In addition to that, higher income is now covered. So again, some changes to really highlight to, again, kind of ensure that Canadians are able to meet their retirement needs when they reach that retirement age. I do have you muted there, Jennifer.
How amateur of me. My apologies.
It happens to the best of us, Jennifer.
So I think that all the information that we've presented here today, or that you presented rather, is extremely insightful. Lots of questions in the chat. We can't answer all of them. If members have questions about how much they would receive if they are widowed and are receiving some benefits, if they move out of Canada and they're not sure if they're going to be able to be eligible for CPP or OAS, and etc., where can they go for more information?
on the screen here are two of your best friends. So if you have more questions, again, kind of want to interact with those online services, interact with those tools, maybe complete kind of an idea of how much you are entitled to, again, I encourage you to visit both of the service centers here. So on the left, you see Service Canada. Again, this is for the Old Age Security Program as well as the Canadian Pension Program. For those that would be eligible for the Quebec Pension Program, and many of you might have also been contributing into more than one. So if you've maybe spent time working in the province of Quebec and then elsewhere in Canada, you would have maybe be entitled to both programs. So again, wanted to encourage you to visit those. You heard us say earlier, again, it's very important to educate yourself kind of on these things. This is really going to help you to plan for the future, ensure that you are on track to meet your goals, and maybe make those important changes today so that you can, again, kind of live that retirement of your dreams. And again, kind of attending programs like that is such a webinar such as today is really kind of an important step. And again, we're not, the intention was certainly not to answer everybody's questions today. It was really to give you the basics and to really direct you to where you can get more information. So again, as part of the overall Financial Literacy Month, again, we really wanted to emphasize that kind of you're not alone on this journey. I know it can seem overwhelming, but again, there's a lot of support and assistance there. So again, we encourage you to, again, reach out.
Thank you so much, Ryan. This has been a fantastic webinar. There's still questions coming in. Everything has been recorded. If you want to review even just this webinar and go over some of the elements that were presented, feel free to go to the website. We've relisted the link in the chat here. ia.ca/group-education/webinars. Feel free to go in online, take a look at the past webinar series that we've already put up online. Join us next week for our last webinar in this series for Financial Literacy Month. We're going to be talking about decumulation. So how do all these contributions, what it will actually become once you actually move into retirement. Stay connected with us. We were so happy to have you all here today. Ryan, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This has truly been a pleasure. And again, speaking about these important things to do with financial literacy, arming ourselves with those tools to, again, make those educated decisions. Jennifer, it truly was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you all next week.
Have a great one, everyone. Thank you.